To page 143. You know, the discussion is on Singapore. It is a very interesting country, okay? First of all, it's very small, and I think it is 75% of the population is Han, okay, from, you know, people always prefer to, a lot of people say it's Chinese. No, it's not Chinese, it's Han, okay? Just like here in Taiwan, we are Han people. Are you Chinese? No, you are not. You are Taiwanese, right? Okay. So let's look at page 144. Okay, it's very interesting here. Okay, you look at table 4.1. Okay, table 4.1. So in 1960, okay, Singapore, US, UK, Japan, Taiwan, Hong Kong, Switzerland. Okay, you look at all these countries. What happened? APC, right? So can anyone, Lin Weixun, what's APC? Yes, exactly. Go ahead. It's like MPC, right? But it's different. Okay, when we talk about MPC, right, the example that I gave you is, so let us say originally you make $30,000 a month, right? And now you get a raise, okay? You got increased by $3,000, so you now get paid $33,000. So MPC is about the extra $3,000, how much you're gonna spend out of it. But APC is $33,000, you know, how much you're gonna spend out of it. Okay, let's look at it. You can see, okay, advanced countries like US, UK, or, you know, Singapore, all these countries, you know, actually they spend a lot out of their income for consumption. Okay, that's in 1960. Okay, but Switzerland, you can see that Switzerland is less than 60%. Kind of interesting. And so, you know, relatively speaking, okay, Switzerland is a rich country. Okay, it is a rich country, but you know the APC is really not big. But Singapore is so interesting, right? Because in the 1960s, when you know this country, you know, just got its independence, 80% of it spent on consumption. But then, in 70 going down, 80 going down, and 90 going further down, and in 2000 only 0.41. Okay, I'm not sure why, but if you want to look at it, okay, if you want to look at it, you can check the whole thing. Okay, this discussion there is kind of interesting. And what about Taiwan? Okay, Taiwan in 1960s we spent more than 60% out of our income for consumption, and 70 going down, 80 going down, but 90 going up, and 2000 stay about the same. Okay, so it's kind of interesting. But if you look at UK, okay, it's close to 70%, and it doesn't change much, right? In 60.68, 70.69, 80.66, 90.68, and 2000.68. But you look at, that's US, okay? And if you look at UK, it's generally like 70%, okay? And in 2000, 77%. So it's kind of interesting. So you see, different countries have different, you know, types of consumption or different patterns. Okay, if you check page 146, okay, it said effect of changes in the real interest rate. So this is exactly what I said. Interest rate goes up, consumption goes down, saving goes up. Okay, if interest rate goes down, consumption goes up, saving goes down. Okay, let me put it up there. So here, interest rate goes up, consumption goes down, saving goes up. Interest rate goes down, consumption goes up, and saving goes down. Okay, and also investment gonna go up. Sorry. Here you're gonna go down, and here you're gonna go up. Okay, let's move on to. Okay, page 148. Okay, page 148. What do you have? That's we call Fisher's equation. Okay, Fisher's equation. What is that? Real interest rate is equal to nominal interest rate minus inflation. Okay. In the original equation, actually this is expected inflation. But expected inflation, there's nothing about this, no information about expected inflation. So we use inflation as a substitute. And here is actually approximately, okay, approximately, okay? Because interest rate is generally very small, so we can use this as a substitute for the original one. The original one is 1 plus nominal interest rate is equal to 1 plus R real interest rate and 1 plus R, expected inflation. Okay, that's the original one. Okay. And then that's the other thing, okay? It is on page 149. What is that? Long-term interest rate is greater than short-term interest rate. Okay, why? Because in the long run, okay, there's more risk, okay, and also more uncertainty. So because of that, the long run interest rate should be greater than the short-term or short-run interest rate, okay? Because in the long run, you get more risk and you will get more uncertainty. And also it costs more, okay? But sometimes if it is the other way around, okay? The long-term interest rate should be greater than the long-term one, okay? As we understand it. But sometimes it happens the other way around, okay? It is called inverse curve, inverse. Okay, the other way around, inverse. When this happens, okay, another study shows that if long-term interest rate less than short-term interest rate, what does that mean? That means the economy will be in recession. Okay, but this is not just like Okun's law. Okay, it's really not a law. Okay, it's just a rule, and it's not necessarily that when long-term interest rate lower than the short-term interest rate, then there will be recession. It's not the case. But generally, that's the speculation. People say this could be what is going on there because the economy, there's something wrong, right? Supposedly, the long-term one should be greater than the short-term one, and when it turns the other way around, it means that there's something wrong. So it could be the economy is at risk of recession, but not necessarily always true, okay? And so you check page 149, then you see all the interest rates information about ECB. What is ECB? European Central Bank, okay, European Central Bank. And so from here, you probably can see the interest rate could be smaller, okay, in the Europe than in the US. The reason is that US, okay, American federal government has a huge debt. But for the European governments, it's generally not that bad in their deficits, okay? And so if you look at second chapter, okay, page 150, third paragraph, okay, third paragraph. So it says a second factor affecting interest rates is the length of time for which funds are borrowed. Okay, so we say long term and short term, right? Okay, and then if you look at the second paragraph. The second paragraph says the interest rates charged on these different types of loans need not be the same. And one reason for this variation is differences in the risk of non-payment or default. Okay, lenders charge risky borrowers extra interest rates to compensate themselves for the risk of default. So for all these reasons, it is different in the U.S. and Europe. Okay, and the third paragraph, okay, it said on let me read the whole thing. So a second factor affecting interest rate is the length of time for which the funds are borrowed. Okay, we read this one, and the relationship between the life of a bond, its maturity, and the interest rate it pays, called the yield curve. Okay, yield curve, right? So this is called the reverse yield curve. Okay, reverse, and usually it's like that. Okay, long term will be greater than the short term, but when it reverses, we call inverse yield curve. Okay, that's exactly what it mentioned here. Okay, let's move on. Okay, and you check page 152. Okay, page 152. Then you can see a general conclusion from the various factors here. Okay. Summary 5. Okay, you look at summary 5 on page 152. So an increase in current output, okay, consumption will go up. Okay, Y goes up. Okay, C also goes up. And if you expect, okay, the output going to go up, but he said the saving will go down. I don't think this is quite right. Let me put down what I believe that is right, okay? Okay, Y goes up, okay, S goes up, right? And C also goes up, okay? For the others, I think it's kind of controversial, okay? So forget about summary 5. Okay, forget about it. It will not be in the test. Okay, forget about summary 5. Okay, let's check page 153. Okay, application. How investors respond to tax incentives. Okay, tax. It's quite easy. Okay, if tax goes up, will you invest more? No, right? That's why Donald Trump, what did he say? He said if he is elected president, he will cut corporate tax. Currently at 20%, right? And he said it's going to be down to 15%, okay? And Kamala Harris, he says the same, okay? She says that if she is elected president, okay, he will get subsidy, okay, subsidy to small business, subsidy to small business. What is subsidy? Subsidy is the opposite of tax. So tax increase will hurt economy. Okay, tax increase will hurt the economy. So, of course, Kamala Harris is going to say, we give you subsidy. That is the same as reduction in tax. And, Donald Trump is more straightforward. He said, we will cut corporate tax, okay? And so, generally, when there's election, what would you see? You see tax going down, okay, to encourage the business to invest and also increase the chances that the candidate going to be elected, okay? So basically, that is what it is. And page 155, you get investment, okay? So what is investment? Investment, basically that's the demand for funding. And why there's a demand for funding is because business can make something out of it. And so what would you have? This is investment, right? And here is the interest rate. And supply. Supply of investment is actually saving, okay? The amount of saving. And here is the amount of investment. And what is this? This is actually MPK, right? That is the marginal product of capital, okay? And so if interest rate goes up, you're going to save more, right? But in terms of opportunity for high return, there's not very much, okay? There's not very much. And also, you know that when investment going up, right, you get more capital. What would you have? You have diminishing returns for marginal product, okay? The marginal product will go down. So MPK will go down. And so here is the amount, the supply of donable funds. Sometimes we say supply of loanable funds. Okay, the amount of money that business people can borrow, basically that's what it is. And so you're gonna get, this is the equilibrium interest rate and the equilibrium amount of investment. So basically that's how it works, but we don't get too much details about it, okay? Because in Keynesian model, what do you have? You just have a number, okay? And so actually investment is a very complicated concept, okay? So page 156, desired capital stock, okay? How much capital you need to have. And then the user cost of capital, okay? So basically, when business people, they are making decision on the investment, they have to take all these into account. You know, how much they have to pay and how much they can get, okay? And so the good news to you is that you don't have to remember all these, okay? So we just get basic idea about that, and you will not be in the test. Okay, page 158, okay? So generally, you look at the demand curve, right? What does it say? It's MPK, okay, it's MPK. And then you look at the cost you have, and then you find out the, you know, exact amount of equilibrium amount of capital that you want to have, and also the amount of cost that you have to pay. And that will be the same thing for page 4.3, okay? But here you talk about, you know, a fall in the interest rate, okay? When interest rate goes down, okay, your costs go down, and so you can have more investment there. That is page 159, figure 4.3, okay? So interest rate goes down, investment gonna go up, okay? And page 160, figure 4.4. Suppose you have increase in technology, right? So you get more output, okay? You get more output out of your investment. And so then what you get? It means that you can increase, okay, your productivity, and then you can increase more investment. So that's what happened in page 160, figure 4.4. Remember, you know, generally we talk about advances in technology, right? But sometimes, okay, sometimes you have disasters, for example, earthquake, right? Tsunami, and that will affect your marginal product of labor, marginal product of capital, and that will work in the other direction. Okay, so then at that point, the NPK will go down and investment will go down. Okay, so page 161, application. It tries to tell you, okay, how to measure the effects of taxes on investment. And this is not easy, okay, this is not easy. Let's look at the countries here, page 163, okay, page 163. So you check here, okay, a lot of countries, they have very high tax rate, okay, very high tax rate. And so here you're going to see if the tax rate is too high, okay, if the tax rate is too high, you're going to see there's an impact on their economy, okay? And basically, let us check some countries, okay? So if you look at table 4.3, okay, if you look at France, how much is the tax? 35.2. And Australia, 25.9. Austria, 26.1. But if you look at the, so the countries in East Europe, Slovenia, that's on the other side. Slovenia, only 9.8, right? I think there should be Ireland. So you see Ireland, right? Ireland only 10.1, okay? So because of this, Google moved a lot of their capital to Ireland. Why? Because the tax will be smaller, okay? And so some countries are talking about all this. It doesn't have Taiwan. It's too bad. It doesn't have Taiwan. You see Turkey, right? 5.7%, okay? But, let me... Huang Pingxuan, the tax rate, effective tax rate for Turkey is only 5.7%. But are there many companies going to Turkey to invest? Yes or no? Guess. Yes, but not quite as many as they would like. Why? Because Turkey has we call a authoritarian leader, and they are really crazy. So for example, actually Turkey has a lot of inflation, okay? The inflation problem is very bad. So, Huang Pingxuan, if a country has very serious inflation, what should the central bank do? Increase interest rate or decrease the interest rate? I think we talked about this at the very beginning, right? If a country has very high inflation, what should the central bank do? Increase interest rate or decrease interest rate? It should be easy, right? Li Boyan. Increase interest rate. But what did Turkey's central bank do? They decreased the interest rate. So it's making a bad situation worse, okay? Make the situation even worse. I think that's one of the reasons, not quite as many companies go to Turkey for investment, because their president just crazy. Okay, so what should Taiwan do? Some people say Taiwan should decrease the tax rate, but Taiwan's tax rate is already quite low. Anyway, so if you look at some, we call advanced countries, G7, right? You look at Germany. Germany, how much is the tax rate? 24.4, also very high. They should have US, right? No, they don't have US here. US, I think that's probably about 20%. Okay, so anyway, page 163. So in the previous model, okay, from MPK and the cost of capital, you can figure out, okay, how much is the desired capital stock. So how much investment you would need, and then you try to figure out what's going on there. And also there is one thing, okay, equation 4.5, page 164, okay, 4.5. It said net investment is equal to gross investment minus depreciation. I think you remember this, right? NNP is equal to GNP minus depreciation. Okay, NNP, that's net, okay, net product, net national product, okay, that is equal to GNP minus depreciation. So that is the same thing here. Okay, basically that's what we have here. Okay, and then page 166. I think this is something that you're gonna work with the whole of your life. Okay, so what is this? Investment and the stock market. Okay, so you can see generally when investment is going up, okay, the stock market is also going up. Okay, so you check page 167, figure 4.6. Okay, generally it's like that. But of course there are some exception. Okay, there are some exception. But if you look at the stock market, okay, so the green line, okay, the green line is investment, okay, and the red line is Tobin's Q. Tobin's Q is a proxy, okay, it is something to represent the stock prices. And so you can see generally when investment is going up, okay, the stock market is also going up. Okay, I think that's about it. But then if you look at page 169, equation 4.8, okay, equation 4.8, that is exactly what I put down in the first hour, right? S is equal to I. Okay, S is equal to I is the equilibrium for the economy. Okay, S equal I. And on page 168, 4.7, Y is equal to C plus I plus G. Okay, this is exactly we call expenditure approach. Okay, expenditure approach to figure out what's in the economy. And if you have open economy, that means it's open to export and import. Okay, so then you have plus, okay, X minus G. X minus M. X is export, M is import. Okay? Okay, I think that's about it. Okay? And page 172, you have a different way to look at investment. Okay, you have a different way to look at investment. And I is something we call MEI. Okay, what is MEI? It is called marginal efficiency of investment. For the first few diagram, we use MPK, right? We use MPK, and now it changes that. We use MEI. That's basically the same thing. So MEI is related to the marginal product of capital, okay? So the more productive the capital, okay, then it is more efficient in terms of the investment. So basically that's the same thing, okay? And if you look at page 173, figure 4.9, okay, the way it shifts, okay, because of increase in investment, okay, increase in technology, all the things will increase the MEI. Okay, I think that's about it. So let's call it a day, and good luck to your midterm.